Just wanted to make a quick wrap-up video of yesterday's 2021 Mr. Olympia in Orlando, Florida. This is going to be a short, impromptu, unscripted video based on the top 6 of last night versus my predictions. Number 6 was William Bonek. I had him placing number 5. I was 1 place off. He played the size game, went over to Kuwait, worked with the Camel crew. And he did put on size, that was evident. It was at the expense of conditioning and sharpness, and his trademark razor sharp details, which have allowed him to win competitions and place highly in competitions. He's got to be disappointed with number 6. I mean, he's placed as high as number 2 in the Olympia. Still relatively young, so I think he's going to go back to the drawing board and rejig his whole strategy. Get that conditioning back, probably lose a little bit of size, but I don't think we've seen the last of William Bonek, that's for sure. Number 5, Nick Walker. I had him placed number 4, so I was 1 place off with Nick. He's got to be happy with number 5, first Olympia ever. I think his best shape was a couple of weeks earlier at the Arnold, and he had to peak again 2 weeks later, not an easy thing to do. But I think he looked great. You know, he retained his size and his conditioning, and he compared very well with all the other top pros there, which is incredible for a 27-year-old in his first Olympia. Number 4, Hunter Labrada. I had him placed number 6. I was a couple of places off, but I still think he was probably a number 6 versus a number 4, and he was in prejudging a little bit bloated, washed out. You couldn't see the details. He was sweating a lot on stage, characteristic of somebody holding a lot of water. So it was a little bit of a mystery as to why he placed number 4 here. He did come in sharper, but I felt Nick Walker was in better conditioning and better shape overall than Hunter. Hunter, overall, he's got a great package. You know, very balanced, very symmetrical. Got some great size. He has Lee Labrada, of course, in his corner, all the resources of Labrada Nutrition behind him. So he's perfectly positioned and placed for a successful career in bodybuilding. I think I see him placing as good, or if not better, next year in the Mr. Olympia. Number 3, Hadi Cuban. And I had him placed in my predictions as number 2. And I still feel that he should have been number 2 in this contest. Still, he improved from last year. He was number 4. And of course, he brought that incredible conditioning. He never skips a beat with his conditioning. His size was there as well. So it wasn't, it's never at the expense of size. And I think the organizers obviously listened to criticism from everybody that he wasn't compared to Curry and Ramee in prejudging, so they brought all 3 of them together on stage so we can see them side-by-side comparisons, and that was a great thing. We could see that, at least in my mind anyway, that he was should have been placed ahead of Curry for sure in my mind, but he was up against 2 former Mr. Olympias, and in one case outweighed by 50 pounds of muscle, so it's going to be difficult for him to compete against people of that caliber when he's like giving up that much size and muscle. Number 2, Brandon Curry. He realized last year that he was going to go up against Phil Heath, so his game plan was to come in sharper, play the conditioning game. This year he realized he was going up against Ramee. So this year the strategy was to play the size game and not the conditioning game. That's what he did. He made some massive improvements in terms of size from last year to this year. It was evident that that was at the expense of conditioning, particularly in the midsection. But that size wasn't really enough to throw off his conditioning that much. So I had him placing number 3, he placed number 2. I still think he was a 3rd place at this contest, but he's got to be happy with number 2 because Ramee, who won the show, of course, I think, was the unequivocal winner. He came in slightly off the day before. Certainly not in the condition that he was in 2020. Chad Nichols and Dennis James, they obviously realized they had work to do between prejudging and the finals. That's what they did. They dialed in his diet, sharpened him up, and then when he came in on stage, it was evident that he was the winner. So I predicted him as #1, and a lot of other people did. No surprise to me. I think we're seeing the reign now of Big Ramy for a few years to come, I think. Anyway, that's my wrap-up impromptu unscripted video of the 2021 Mr. Olympia. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider liking, subscribing, commenting, etc. I'll be interested to hear what your thoughts are. Thanks.